Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for standing by, and welcome to the Not Just Skin Deep Consumer Insights on Healthy Skin webinar. During the presentation, all participants will be in a listen-only mode. If you'd like to ask a question during the presentation, please use the chat feature located in the lower left corner of your screen. And if you need to reach an operator at any time, please press *0. As a reminder, this conference is being recorded Thursday, September 19th, 2013. Your speakers for today are Silvina Milenkova and Tatiana Gormley. Silvina Milenkova, Senior Vice President, Research and Strategic Direction. Silvina joined BuzzBack in 2006 and focuses on early-stage product development, packaging, and communications research. She is also an expert in BuzzBack's innovative, enabling, and projective techniques. Fluent in 5 languages and experienced global researcher, she brings over 15 years of client-side experience. Tatiana Gormley, Senior Research Manager. Tatiana has been with BuzzBack since 2005, working with companies in the beauty, CPG, food and beverage, advertising, and pharmaceutical industries, among others. She has designed and managed many ANUs, IHUTs, naming evaluations, package and concept evaluations, and exploratory studies for some of BuzzBack's top clients. Fluent in 3 languages, Tatiana also brings over 3 years of supplier-side marketing experience from Brazil. Please go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining today. What we're hoping to do is basically cover what people associate with healthy overall, and we'll do this across 6 main markets that we've selected for this study, and also understand what that means and how that layers up when it comes to skin and skincare specifically. Some of you might be wondering why healthy. We have been conducting a lot of research over the past 2 to 3 years around certain platforms which our clients in marketing and communications have used to communicate to their key constituencies. And what we were able to do with these studies and the subsequent papers around them was to understand what a word or a theme means when it comes to not just the verbal associations with it, but the imagery, the emotions, and kind of what that can be translated when it comes into a global context and not just focusing on certain markets. And as part of this program, we usually go out to marketers and ask them kind of which words or platforms they're interested in. And healthy was on the top of our list. We have done things that range from natural to luxury to cool. And every time we reach out to people, they always want to hear about healthy. So that's the reason why we're focusing on healthy today. Some general background on the work. The work was conducted in 6 key markets, which you see here, and we had about 400 respondents per market. The reason behind this was that we were trying to really have enough robust sample size to be able to slice and dice and look at nuances, not just across the markets, but within them as well. And as in every research project, as you probably all know, it's a collaborative effort. So we used our key partners for this research as well. We had USAMP, which helped us with the sampling, Lionbridge with translations and kind of localization of a lot of the specific techniques we used, and DataWise was our partner in data processing. So what are we going to help you understand today is actually the different dimensions of healthy. We'll look at kind of the broader context, which deals with the imagery, the associations, some key emotions, if there are any, which we'll see whether there is or not, and then kind of more traditional things around attributes, which categories are associated, which products are associated with healthy, and then kind of go into the specific brands, and this is where we're specifically going to focus on skincare. How we will do this? We will do this as a blend of more traditional questioning techniques like attributes and words and descriptors, but also utilize some more innovative techniques which are meant to enable respondents and help them project and articulate better. And those are things around imagery exercises as well as putting them in certain scenarios, understanding how they would relate. So what is healthy? When we started this, we kind of asked people to tell us, this is across all of the 6 markets, what they think of health versus wellness. It was a very direct question we asked them, and what we're trying to understand is whether they perceive that there are any differences or how they articulate these differences. And we kind of got a pretty complex mixed picture. So for the US and the UK specifically, people were telling us that health is more concrete, health is more physical, and it's being free of illnesses, where for them wellness was more of a holistic concept. They were talking about the social, the spiritual, the physical, and the emotional all together. So that kind of seemed in those two markets that there is quite a delineation between those two concepts. Well, in Russia, actually, we saw that health and wellness were pretty interchangeable. People did not see a lot of differences, and in fact, wellness just meant good health, where in China, actually, health was the concept that had both the physical and the emotional and the spiritual, where wellness was not really translating as well, and it was mostly associated with robustness, which was a very physical concept. Okay, so if you're like us, you're sitting here and you're thinking, okay, that probably means that it's all relative and it's probably hard for anyone or any company to have a global strategy when it comes to health. Quite challenging and confusing at first. But when we looked into this, we saw that that's not really the case. The idea, that we believe in, and actually a lot of people from academia as well as, in business believe, is that direct questioning only gets us so far. So when we ask people to compare and contrast, we saw a pretty diluted picture, but this only tells us part of the story. So since we know that a lot of decision making is subconscious and many of the communication, people use is nonverbal, and not actually relate to words and more imagery-based, we wanted to see if we can tease out these differences. And the picture that came out is that, yes, there are differences among these markets, which I will go through in a second, but there was a lot of commonalities. So actually, what we got from direct questioning is not the whole story. And one way to get there is actually to see how people react to imagery. So we put them through a collaging exercise, which is a technique I'm sure most of you are familiar with from the qualitative world, which uses imagery as catalyst for articulation. So hopefully through the use of images, we are attaining more nonverbal associations and helping people think through concepts in more detail rather than just top of mind. We've taken this technique and basically put it online, enhanced it. It allows people now to have the same set of images, also allows us to talk to a lot more people versus what you might see in an offline qualitative context. The interface is very straightforward. They can select as few or as many images as they like, manipulate them in any way, and put tags on them or not, and kind of tell us what they mean to them. So the idea behind the images is they are kind of helping people articulate what they mean when it comes to healthy, and then the respondent is coming back to us and telling us what healthy really means to them. So here what you see is kind of the aggregated result of all of the images selected across all of the markets by the highest number of respondents. So yes, there is a lot of commonalities. We are seeing a lot of food-related images, a lot of fitness and exercise-related images. This was across the board regardless of which market we looked at. And if you look beyond that, you see there are a lot of images of people and social situations and emotions, and that's kind of what we'll explore further because that's kind of where I think we're seeing some of the more interesting information when it comes to health. This actually is kind of teasing apart some of the differences. So yes, everybody was talking about health, everybody was talking about diet and exercise, everybody was talking about balance, but we're seeing that being more the case in the UK and the US specifically, where when you look at Brazil, we're seeing a lot more people images, a lot more associations with social interactions and family and how that contributes to their happiness and balance and health. Similar associations in Germany were around balance. And when we look at Russia, we're seeing, again, more individual images as well, again, more people images, but again, more emotive images. So what does this all mean? We went and actually conducted a statistical analysis, which is called factor analysis, to see if we can actually uncover any dimensions among these images. And I won't bore you with the detail of what factor analysis does, but in this case, it actually helped us group the images in 3 main dimensions or factors. And they were pretty consistent, again, across all 6 markets when it came to healthy overall. And those were the prescription for healthy, relationship and happiness, and nature. So what I would do next is kind of I'll walk you through each of these and kind of tell you what they mean and what the context for them is.